before we go.
I almost was like not gonna say I was gonna let the song roll out to be honest with you, but the phase out of the music though that was official, man.
You gotta finish it though. Now it's time for you to show your talents.
Me, well, hey, this call is not about me today, so I'm here to be able to highlight my brother today. We do look alike a little bit, right? But I'm excited for you guys. Obviously, a lot of you guys know him. Obviously, you heard him, especially on the Be a Better Builder call last week. And just all across Symmetry, just the impact that he is making. But I'm excited to introduce my guy Scott Schnitzer today. So, like I said, a lot of you guys know him, but let me just put some respect on his name, just so you guys know who you're speaking with today. So number one, my guy lives in Buffalo, New York. That's obvious. I'm not from Buffalo. I'm from Rochester, like an hour away. Um, so represent New York a little bit. Former boat dealership sales manager before Symmetry. Started with Symmetry full time in September of 2022. Between 2023 and 2024, he wrote a total of
Here,
five
it's
hundred and
windy
ninety
and
two
today, and it's
thousand dollars in
okay
premium. You
because it's
guys,
summer and it's going to
um,
rain Thursday through
personal
Sunday again.
and real quick, yeah, thank you. Personal best month is 52,000 in 2024. He had 29 5K weeks, right? We talk about consistency in the company, right? To be able to find that flow, find that confidence. Scott was the epitome of that. Six 10K weeks and one 25K week. Top producer, regional agency director currently. Quigley
Let's say the
Leadership Award
beginning.
winner. And then he has a
But
1 year old boy at home and a 1 month old baby girl, runs his business alongside his wife Kate. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Scott, I love you, but really
It's
we
a
need to have Kate on the
no-go. I
top producer
know.
call.
I know. I know, man. She's so good. She actually built my faith in this business. I had like a massive vision for it. I
Mhm.
think I was just really scared about leaving my previous job. It provided a lot of security, and it was also a family business. So as you can imagine, there's some weird dynamics there when you leave a family business. But I downloaded the first virtual conference. Were you around when that happened, or did you start
Well,
the?
I was still new. I think it was what, February 22 or something like that. I think it was. I believe
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
Oh no,
that's
not the first one.
right.
The first one ever. I was not here for that one yet.
Okay, so the first virtual conference, Ashley had sent me the link for it, and she's like, "Hey, I want you to hop on this." Tyler had been trying to recruit me for like a year and a half before that.
Hmm.
His other business, it wasn't like a real deal until Ashley was involved. So when Ashley sent me that video, I shot it over to Kate, and I was like, "Hey, there's a virtual conference going on right now. You should hop on and listen to it." She caught the vision that I was already catching. And so she was like, dude, I'm quitting my corporate job. Like, let's do this. So she jumped in the field about 4 months before I did. I don't know the exact number she had her first 4 months. I think it was like 4,000, 6,000, 12, and then 26. By her fourth month, she wrote 26K and she was showing us how it's done. So I was like, I could probably try this and do okay at it. But I'll let you guys know she was bold with her movement early on. A lot of trial and error. She was calling people all day, every day, asking for help. I heard her on the phone constantly with other top producers that were on the team, just like pouring into her because she was there. She was coachable. She was hungry. And I remember even walking into her office one day and I was like, yo, are you making triple dials? Because this sounds absolutely terrible to me. And she's like, yeah, that's why I'm booking more appointments than you are. Of course, I'm making triple dials. So, anyways, it was cool to see her take off, and she now supports the business in other ways. And I've been more of the producer and kind of things like that. So, yeah, here we
That's
are.
cool though. That's cool though, isn't it though, right? Like the different seasons we get to go through. Like I know like it's some people may be afraid, like, man, I'm gonna have to produce forever. Number one, you don't have to do anything. We get to, but like you get to evolve at your responsibilities in the business and right as things grow, you're needed in a little bit different areas where it's sometimes it's more profitable depending, hear me you guys, different levels, where it's more profitable sometimes for you to be out of the field and actually in it at times. But this is a production call though, Scott. So let's start with this, right? I know we're gonna do a little bit of Q&A here, and then I'm gonna let you run with it. But for those guys that don't know, right? They know Scott right now, as you are today, the top producer, right? The 125 on his 130 run, right? By the way, you guys gotta throw that out there. But like, what did Scott look like in the beginning, right? You talked about Kate was the one that came out, hit the ground running. She held a lot of that belief for you, but what did brand new Scott look like?
Really, really bad at this. My very first month. in the business full time. I'd left a really comfortable job. It was a family business, so I didn't get a ton of favor there with the comp plan. They were trying to save money on my salary, but I made up for it in commissions. I was selling boats. Came here really uncomfortable because I didn't know anything about life insurance. We didn't even have policies, Michael. So,
Mm.
much like you starting in this, you're like, all right, what's life insurance? So, so
Literally.
and like I remember having those conversations with Ashley, and I was like, Ashley, I want to make 15 grand a month as quickly as I possibly can because my family needs it. We had a construction loan, we had different things, different debts that we had going on, mortgage, everything. It was about 10 grand worth of bills when I started here. So if I made anything less than that, we were robbing from Peter to pay Paul. So I wanted to make it, as 15 grand as soon as possible. So she's like, hey, look, bare minimum, you're going to need to invest 500 a week. Bare minimum, you're going to need to make 400 dials to get good at this. Like, let that be your floor each week. And then base, whenever you need help in an area, just take a look back and see which area you need help with because there's plenty of help here.
Mhm.
Little did she say, she's like, none of it's coming from me, but you know who to reach out to, right? So she taught us how to be really resourceful because Ashley didn't want to have conversations about production. This is my upline for anyone who doesn't know. She didn't want to have conversations about production. She wanted to have conversations about building the business. So let that be known for like any of you that are building
Oof.
a team here. You don't need to like there's so many resources, top producer call. We've got deep dive with the sales experts. We've got the LMS training that has hundreds of videos within it. There's so many resources here for producers. Your real main focus with your team members should be building their businesses with them. Because what's going to keep them here in the short term is going to be like those, the feeling of, getting a deposit and helping a family out. And of course, that feels really good. But building a business is going to keep them here long term. Receiving
Right.
passive income and overrides is going to keep them here long term. So back to the beginning of my business, Michael, I made 2 grand my first month.
Oof.
And I don't even think that was officially 2 grand because I spent 2 grand in leads. So I basically made zero.
Red line.
And then the next month I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to Ashley. I'll actually do the 400 dials a week. So I did the 400 dials a week the next month
Mhm.
and I made 2 grand again and spent 2 grand on leads. So that was my first 2 months here. All right. I then went on to make six and then nine and then 16 and then 18 because I had a conversation with Kate in the kitchen after that second month, and I was like, look, if I don't figure this out, I'm gonna be homeless. And so are you. Like, so I just want to let you know that's what I'm up against right now. I need to figure this out. But yeah, it was just like I didn't give myself a backup plan. Um, I'm a competitive person, Michael. And I
Oh,
did
I
not
know.
want to go back. I did not want to go back to my family business because every single one of them was expecting me to quit and go back.
Mm.
Everyone in my life, like, I remember my dad, he was supportive on the outside, but on the inside, he was crumbling. I was his retirement plan.
Mm.
He wanted to retire and leave the business to me. And then Kate's family, her dad has been an entrepreneur since day one, and he thought we were idiots for doing this. So we both had like these outside critics, and we were like, we're going to show them, we're going to make this work. So yeah, we just had it built into our minds that we were going to make this work. So those really slow $2,000 first month and second month, um, honestly, I could have gone back to comfort, could have gone back to what was easy. But I had such a massive vision for building this thing, like from a building standpoint, that I couldn't give up when the production got hard. So keep your focus on the future, on the vision for your agency while you're going through the tough times, because as you start building that side of the business, it's so much more rewarding to see a team member win than to sell a policy.
Yep.
It's so much more rewarding. So I just knew that I needed to get through production, I guess call it learning curve, so that
Mm.
I can experience those wins with my future team. So
Man, I love that. And I do agree, by the way. Like it is really cool. And that's my favorite part of the business. That's that impact, that's the drug that we always talk about, right? The like I really enjoy when I get to see an agent hit a wall because we're all gonna hit a wall, you guys, right? If you haven't hit a wall, you're gonna hit a wall at somewhere, you're gonna hit that ceiling. And it's really cool to be able to watch an agent hit that wall and figure out how to be able to break it down, to be able to get over it, to be able to progress. So, but one of the things I do want to highlight, I want you to elaborate on though, Scott, is you talked about being resourceful, right? Because there are so many different resources, there are so many different calls where you can learn how to produce. And I know sometimes, right, coming into this, right, I can speak to myself. I know I took a lack of ownership, right, when I first started as a new agent, thinking that it was going to be handed to me and that everything was just going to be done. It was going to be done for me, basically, right? The training, right? Understanding like the skill aspect, where in reality, it's like we came here for ownership. We came here to be a boss, be our own boss. The resources are at our fingertips. We just have to go out there and grab it, right? And utilize it and figure it out. So for an agent that is in that state, right, and understanding the resources or what to leverage, I guess what would you tell them to kind of walk them through that?
I think it's just like where you are right now is because of who you are right now. You
Mhm.
know, where you are currently is because of who you are, whether that's your upbringing, the environment you've been in, the background that you come from, all of those things play into it. But we've seen so many people come into cemetery, take their lives from here to here, become a completely different leader, a completely different spouse, a completely different teammate. And it's all a byproduct of what they would say, not me. Like ask
Mhm.
any of the 130s, what they would say is, I surrounded myself with the right people. Okay. And like your associations in life take you to
Yep.
where like the next level. So who you get around determines where you go. So if I'm a new agent and I say to you, Michael, I'm just focused on production right now. I don't have enough time for the team calls. Or I don't have enough time for the deep dive because I need to run an appointment during that time. I think you're actually robbing from who you need to become and the person that you, like
Mm.
the transformation that you need is going to come from those type of associations, and you're just going to stay the same type of person, right? There's only so much you can do on your own. So I think that we all need each other. I
Yep.
think that, like, especially look back at our journey, Michael, we've taken so much from each other. I would not be the same agency owner that I was, without you in my circle, and vice versa. We fed off each
100%.
other a lot the last couple of years. So I would say it's everything. Who you are right now is a product of what you've done. So to be able to become more than what you are right now, you have to do more than what you've done. And that means learning, associating, reading, plugging into all the calls that are available, and it may be a longer term investment for you, but it's
Mhm.
going to keep you here because the product is going to be growth. If
Yep.
you don't, the product's going to be getting frustrated with production and you're going to end up fizzling out. That's just the cold hard truth.
Yep, you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna get stuck on those little baby obstacles, which really should just be a pebble in the road, right? You're just gonna turn that into a mountain. But focusing and chasing that personal growth, chasing that personal development, like that is everything here, right? And it allows you to be able to latch onto the vision and fight for it a lot longer as well, too, because you understand the worth of it, opposed to just trying to be able to get something as simple as just feeling comfortable or in the moment, right? So.
Yeah. And
Um,
there's some wisdom passed on from Andrew too. Very early on, I showed up to a team call. This was like in my first month officially full time. Andrew Jimenez comes on a team call. So I'll pass this wisdom on to you guys. For anyone that's new that's listening, Michael, how much time do you have before you leave me?
Probably like 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. So Andrew came on a call and he's just like, look, this is your checklist for every week. And I want to pass this wisdom on to everyone who's listening because I thought it was really fruitful. He's like, this is your checklist. He goes, write down resources, put a little box next to it. Write down activity, put another little box next to it. Write down schedule, put in a little box next to it. And write down system and put a little box next to it. Okay, that's your checklist. Every single week, that's your checklist. If you're missing one of these things, you're starving your business of one of these things. Okay. I'm not sure what type of words he used, but that's how I would relay that message to you guys now. But he gave us this wisdom. He goes, look, I have to grade myself on these four things every single week, or or my business isn't going to make it. If I don't have resources, so how about we just all do this as a group real quick? Let's just look at last week. Grade yourself on a 1 to 10. How'd you do with resources? Okay. We got to think about a 10x multiplier, right? If you wanted to make 3,000, how much did you spend on leads last week? Right? Was it 1/10 of what you wanted to make? And are you doing that consistently? Okay. As far as activity goes, Symmetry said the bare minimum expectation was 300 dials. Put a one in the chat if you want to do the bare minimum expectation. Okay. Now be honest with yourself. Did you do it? Scale of
Ooh.
1 to 10. How'd you do with that?
Scott, some people are gonna hop off the call. You're being too real.
So, so do you want to be a bare minimum type of person? And now you're being asked if you actually were that person last week. Anything below that is subpar, right? It's not going to help you out with production. It's not going to move your business forward. So we just need like Andrew gave me like the truth pill. It was just like, here's the truth pill. You want to take it, or you can hang out over there with your rose-colored sunglasses and pretend that 5 or 6 appointments set a week is going to help you out here. Because that is just enough appointments, that's just enough production to actually keep you miserable here. I promise you, I've been there. I've had tears in my household because of this. I've had conversations at the kitchen table where we're hurting, where we're talking about liquidating our 401k the next day because it's hurting so bad. Okay. So I feel you guys on this, but 5 or 6 appointments, it's going to keep you here for about a year and you're going to be miserable the entire year. I promise you. So how'd you do with activity? How'd you do with your schedule? Did you decide ahead of time? Did you sit down on Sunday and tell yourself exactly when you're working, exactly what team calls you're hopping on, exactly when you're dialing in the Mac room or in your virtual office, exactly when you're getting your coaching for the week and you're getting your association in, meeting with your running buddies or meeting with your upline for some coaching? Did you decide that ahead of time, or did you have a breakdown on Wednesday and call your upline for help? Okay? Because there's a difference in being proactive and reactive with your schedule. A reactive schedule is going to say, I need this, I need this, I need this, so I'm going to go get it. A proactive schedule is, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stand on my word for the week. Those are called non-negotiables. So, Michael, for me early on, that was definitely sitting in front of 10 people a week. That was making the Monday, Friday team calls and the Wednesday national call, no matter what. That was hopping on every single deep dive with the sales experts. I've only missed two. I came home from the hospital with my daughter the day after she was born and sat on the deep dive call because it was out of nature. I didn't even mean to turn it on. It just like naturally I was like, "Oh, deep dive's on real quick." I'm like, "Oh wait, there's a newborn right here." Okay. But I'm serious. Those are non-negotiables for me. If you stand on those things week after week, there's a reason why 45K weeks happened last year because I just stood on the same things. They were simple every single week in and week out. And then last thing is the system. Like you asked me this question, like what should agents be doing like outside of just running the numbers back to grow themselves? Everything, everything you got to get obsessed. The LMS should be open on your desktop every day. Okay. You should be reaching out to top producers, bug them until they block you, and then go find another top producer. There's plenty of them. Bug them till they block you. Okay, because most of them actually love pouring back into the team. That's what I've noticed about the good producers here at Symmetry. That's why I love this culture. So they actually love it. You're actually feeding into like their love language, which is teaching others how to do things. So go in, like grade yourself on a 1 through 10 through all those things and just do it every single week. Okay,
Yep.
because those little habits compile, they stack on top of each other, and all of a sudden you're like, I can go out and write whatever type of business I want to this week.
And that's the thing though, right? That you just said that. Like the habits, those wins, they stack upon themselves, right? This is a momentum business, right? You don't have to everything that Scott just said, you don't have to be great at everything today, right? You just have to progress and get 1% better at those things today, right? And it's always like you talked about, right? Spending that time on Sunday, planning out your week. What do you have planned for this week? How are you controlling your week? How are you controlling your production? How are you controlling your life? Or are you just constantly reactive to it? And there's no question why you and Kate are where you're at in the business right now, right? There's no question whenever we hear folks' stories, right? They are where they are because of the things that they did, right? They decided to get uncomfortable. They decided to do the things that weren't normal, right? To get what they wanted, right? And it looks like, man, Scott is so far away, man. He's this guy that is so polished and what he is saying, man. No, he started exactly where you were. The only difference between where he is now and where he was when he first started in a similar position as you is that he just made the choice and the commitment to show up every day and do the hard things. Right? Because we can all do hard things here. It just depends on how long are you willing to do those things until they become easy. Because everything new is hard at first. Until you do it long enough and you have the experience to where it's just natural and it's second nature. Right.
Yeah,
So
competency feels good.
it's oh
I had none
trust
of
me.
it. Yeah, I had none of it when I got here. Michael, we've walked through this before, the Steph Curry analogy.
Yep.
When you don't know what you don't know and you don't know how to do it, it hurts really bad. Like you have to force yourself. When you get to a point where you know what you're doing and you don't even have to think about it, you just do it. It feels really good. And you can look at someone like Giovanna Mitri. I know she's on this call, so I'll just give her some public edification here. She can make $90 in a week, set 17 appointments, and write 12K.
Okay.
Okay. But it's just like Steph Curry can walk out on the 3-point line, not even look at the rim, and he just pulls back, releases, and it goes in. because it just happens naturally. You don't have to think about it.
Yep.
So I think that's so important to realize you're in a stage right now, and you have to build an until mentality.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're gonna miss those learning lessons because you guys are actually really good at sales. Everyone on this call is really good at sales because every time you want to negotiate on your goals, you win. You win. You sell yourself. Every time you want to negotiate on a non-negotiable, you sell yourself. So you're actually really good at sales. So use that to your advantage. I remember countless weeks last year when I was going on this 5K a week. I mean, I was battling Venus Diaz for like 18 weeks there until I lost after conference. It was like 18 weeks straight, and I finally caved in and failed. But most of those weeks, it was like Friday, Michael, and I had 345 left in premium that I needed, and it was
Mhm.
Friday afternoon, and I'm the only one in the virtual office with like Sarah Neal, who's in there grinding it out as well with me, or Wilbur Smith in there on a Friday night after he was done putting the kids down to bed. And it's
Mhm.
like 8 p.m. and I'm like, dude, I need one more accidental policy. I'm not leaving until I get it.
Mhm.
Like until mentality.
That is
Don't
it.
don't sell yourself out. You're good at it. Don't do it. Yeah, that's it.
And and I do want to, because I know Scott, you're about to run with this in here in a second, but with that, geez, my mind just went blank. There was too many things I was processing there just now. But yeah, I completely forgot. Not even gonna try to do it, you guys. I don't take myself that seriously to even try. But I do want to highlight the, oh, that's what it was, the mindset aspect of the business, though, right? A lot of it on this call right now, the top producer call. I know we hear a lot of times like some practical things. This right here, you guys, are the keys to the kingdom. This business is 90% mental, is 10% skill, right? Because the things you can learn, but showing up every day and having the right mindset on how to approach, again, your business, how to approach yourself, how to approach your development here, that is the key. Just like Scott mentioned it a while ago, right? If you can work on your personal development, if you can chase that character growth here, then everything else will start to be able to fall in line. Why? Because you became the person you needed to become at the end of the day, right? You changed yourself, you changed your habits, right? You started viewing things differently, but it's up to you, right? We all have that power, we all have that choice. And what you just said a second ago, too, Scott, right, is right greatness here in my mind. I remember asking a few people here in the company, like, what is greatness? Like, I remember talking to Pritchett, and it was like, great. The people who are truly great here in the company are the people who just show up consistently and do the things every day. It's not that they're doing anything truly great. It's just that they're consistent, right? You with your 5K weeks, you just did the symmetry average and what symmetry promotes consistently good all the time, right? And that's why you're great in this business. So, with that though, Scott, I'm gonna hop on my phone. I'm gonna let you run, my guy. And I'm gonna be tuning in. But you guys, Sky's on fire for y'all today. So my guy, blow him up.
Cool, let's do it. Yeah, I heard Jim talk about this the other day on our accountability call, and he's like, it really comes down to getting good at the things that matter. And I think there's so many different components to this business that we stress ourselves out with in the first year or two that they just don't matter yet. Like there's levels to this building an agency thing, and like early on what's going to pay you is helping out clients, and long term what's going to pay you is bringing in new agents. So just focus on that, right? There's a lot of different things in building a business that seem like they matter, but serving people is the number one thing that matters. So if you look at your calendar for the week and it's not completely jam packed of you serving people, whether that's a new client or a new agent, whatever that is, your team, the greater symmetry team, whatever that is, make your week completely full with serving others. That shows up on a paycheck because if it's like an agent and you're planting seeds, you're planting those seeds for the future. Okay? If it's a client, those that harvest is happening tomorrow if you do it right. You know what I mean? So it's either you're planting for the future or you're planting for the right now, but the total sum of your calendar should be serving others. All right. So keep that at the forefront. Um, let's do this. I would love to, I could take this call two different places. I see that there's some people active in the chat. So let's do this. If we want to do question and answer, we can. And I can talk about my sales business, or we can do a referral. I can teach you guys how to get more. All right, referrals it is. All right, so last year I saw one number one, McKinley. We will touch base offline. I'll answer any of your questions. Referrals for me last year was a lifeline. I got really heavy into building last year, running a lot of interviews. Didn't have a ton of time to get in $400 or $500 a week like I did the year before. The year before, I was really figuring out production. I'll be honest with you guys, it was still really bad. I was just making a big mess. I think I had at best for the year like a 60% issue rate. So I was just learning how to get the business across the line. Like that was it for me. I submitted 308,000, half of it got issued. So it was a big learning curve, but I figured out towards the end of the year which where to go for which clients. I figured out how to be resourceful and figure out how to do casework. So that was a win for 2023. 2024 for me was really about maximizing what I had learned. Okay. I knew how to book an appointment. I knew how to get someone to show up. That was the first kind of learning curve I had with the whole process was like, how do I keep them on the phone? Now, how do I book? Now, how do I get them to show up? So a lot of 2023 was refining that process. Walking into 2024, I really wanted to grow my business. I wanted to bring new people into the agency. So I needed to make less dials and crunch my time as much as I possibly could. So I started running a referral play that I'm going to teach you guys today. And the results were this. I wrote 298,000 in premium last year, and 89,000 was from referrals, all from digital leads. So I was buying 10 to 15 a week, working the referrals hard. And I don't want to just keep this like narrow focus on referrals right now because there's so much more there that we need to be thinking about. But hey, maybe someone can help me out here in the chat. Help me out. What are the five R's? What are the five R's? I gave you one of them. One of them's referrals, and we're going to teach about that today. But help me out and let me know what are the five R's? Let's see here. Yep. Recruits, rugrats, resets, referrals. Recruits, rugrats, resets, referrals. Replacement. There we go. We just got the fifth one. All right. I was like, I know there was one more. Okay. So we have all these opportunities. This is like the red car. You guys have heard of the reticular activating system. Ed Mylett talks about it all the time. This is the red car syndrome you need for your business. Okay. It pays really well to look at this red car. Okay. Every time you're with a client, if you could have a sticky note on your page or on your screen here, somewhere on your desktop that says refer, yeah, of course, Fred, all five of them are resets for Fred. Referrals, resets, rugrats, relatives, replacements. Like if you could think about those things every time you're working with someone, it does a few things for your business that we're going to talk about today. What I really think is it strengthens your business big time. Okay, not only are you getting referrals, which are free leads, but you're also getting depth within that client. Okay, if you go from helping just them out with a mortgage protection policy to selling kids policies for them, maybe selling a policy to their spouse, maybe their aunt or uncle, you're going to notice that your business is stickier. Staying on the books, it's stronger. So that book of business is growing depth, not just width. Okay, so I think that's important to think about. I'm going to share my screen here if I can. And we'll go through this referral play real quick. So number one thing I'm going to teach you about is the emergency contact list. Number two, I'm going to teach you about a policy delivery. And number three, I'm going to teach you how to focus on the 5 hours during that policy delivery. It's a three-step process. What I would really say for you guys is choose one thing from today that's really going to help you out, like that you can act on right away. Okay. If there's one thing that I'm teaching about today where you're like, I can implement that right now, I think the really quick movers in this business just are constantly doing that. Here's one thing that I can implement today. So hopefully we can teach something that can make you guys some money this week. Let me share the slideshow here. All right, little testimonial. This is Lori from Kaiser, Oregon. If anyone's from Oregon, put a 2 in the chat. I'd love to see my Oregon friends in here. That's where I went to school, where I grew up. I called Lori. She D&D'd me after a couple text messages went through Switchboard. Raise your hand if you've ever been D&D'd on Switchboard. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, so I continue to follow up with her. I've got Switchboard. I've also got my cell phone number. I've got Kate's cell phone number. I've got her Switchboard. So I technically have 4 phone numbers in this house that I can use to get a hold of a client. Now, I never want to go to the fourth one because that means that I'm really trying too hard. Okay, but in this situation, I used another phone number. I kept reaching out to her. Found out that her original agent wrote her a fully underwritten policy. So came out, did blood work, did the whole thing, and then that agent ghosted her. Okay, that agent ghosted her. So when I called her on my cell phone, she finally answered, and she was like, her response was very lighthearted. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you got a hold of me. I was working with another agent. They ended up ghosting me, so on and so forth." So I ended up writing her a final expense policy, scheduled her with a policy review. I ran the same exact play that I'm about to teach you guys, asked for the referrals, and this number has actually gone up. This was the number that I presented last year at conference during a breakout. So it's probably closer to like 45, maybe 48 now, but let's call it 48. 48,000 in premium from one lead. Are you serious? That was a $40 lead. My family made 30K from a $30 lead. I'm all in for that. I'm all in for that. Okay. So here's how we do it. The first part is the policy. You're going to do it's basically like your emergency contact list. And I want you guys to think of like beneficiaries being on this emergency contact list, maybe close loved ones. Who's one person that I can role play with during this time? Does anybody want to help me? Wilbur, you want to be a part of this?
I got you.
Let's just like try to make this more real for people, okay? So if I asked you like, "Hey Wilbur, part of my job in setting up the policy is making sure that I have a few people here on your emergency contact list that like these are trusted people in your life that if, God forbid you didn't come home from work one day and we know Piper's going to be just an absolute mess and dealing with a lot at that time. This emergency contact list would be the list of people that I would work with to help Piper get the policy activated if something happened to you.
Hmm.
So does that sit well with you, Wilbur, when I say that?
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense.
Because like obviously Piper, you guys have four boys at home and Piper would be dealing with a lot if something happened to you, correct?
Yeah, totally.
So this emergency contact list are the few people that are very close support for the family. So who would that be for you, Wilbur?
After her, I guess it'd probably be maybe my brothers.
Okay, cool. So you got two older brothers, right?
Three.
You got three older brothers, I'm sorry. Cool. So you've got three people there that can help out with the family if they ever need you. What else? Who else would be on that list?
Um, I guess my folks.
Okay, mom and dad. I mean, dude, real talk, you're like my best friend. Would I be on that list?
I'd probably put Kate.
Okay, true. Kate's more responsible.
Responsibility purposes.
Great facts. Okay, cool. So we've got his emergency contact list. Now, some of you guys like a script. Okay, so I did provide one here. My conversation is just more laid back like that. Like the way that I asked Wilbur, I think that comes off in a really like genuine way. Okay. And remember, we've got to have a heart posture here that this is exactly why we're asking for the emergency contact list. It's not to go sell them life insurance. It's not to go hound them and use them as referrals. But I'm going to teach you how to do that too. Your heart posture needs to be like, hey, I'm going to help this family set up more structure so that they're taken care of if something ever happens to Wilbur. Okay, so this emergency contact list, if you want to use the script, I would say, hey, Wilbur, before I let you go, I just wanted to let you know there are billions of dollars in life insurance benefits that go unclaimed each year. This happens when the beneficiaries don't receive the death benefit after the insured person dies, possibly because they don't know about it or know about who the policy was issued with. That doesn't sit well with me. Okay, that's a lot of money, guys. Billions of dollars a year goes from unclaimed life insurance. Imagine you had $1 million policy for your wife and she didn't know about it. That's how the life insurance companies win. We don't want that to happen. We're fighting against that. Okay. So I let my client know that. So here's what I want to do with you, Wilbur. 4 to 5 additional people that you have loved and trusted over the past several years. I'm just going to call them, let them know that they're on file for your policy. And I want to make sure that they have my information saved in case they ever need me. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. So go ahead. We'll write those 4 to 5 people down. Also, you could shoot them a message and let them know that they're on your emergency contact list for your policy. Just kind of give them a heads up, okay?
Okay.
All right, perfect. So that's the script, guys. I'm setting this up for Wilbur so that he has an emergency contact list so that if anything happens to him, These people are allowed to call me and let me know that the policy needs to be activated. All right. Of course, I'm still going to need, what do we need for a death claim? We need death certificate, funeral receipt. What are some other things that so like we would need those things still, but these people can at least get the ball rolling for Wilbur. Okay. All right. That's how we set it up. We'll put a pause on that. Okay. We're going to schedule a policy delivery with them. So Wilbur, we just got done submitting your policy. So let's take it to the end of the appointment now. I would have set up that emergency contact list while I'm talking about your beneficiaries, right? So we filled out
Yeah.
the policy, we got it submitted over to the carrier. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna BAM FAM. What does BAM FAM stand for? Anybody
Book a
know?
meeting from a meeting.
Book a meeting from a meeting. So I'm gonna book a policy delivery with this client. It happens to be Wilbur today for 7 to 9 days in the future. Wilbur, why do I do it 7 to 9 days out?
To let them get the information, let it show up to their house, all that good stuff. Make sure that it gets approved and there's no first payment goes out, and there's no shenanigans.
Approved, issued, first payments coming out, like their policy is official. Okay. I don't want to talk to them on that policy review and them have a ton of questions about like, why is my policy not issued yet? I haven't gotten the email. I don't have a packet yet. Right. So I want to make sure that that policy is fully issued. Otherwise, I don't want to have this meeting yet. Okay. So I would just tell Wilbur, like a lot of us are using Switchboard or funnels. I would just tell Wilbur, hey, the same way you got a reminder for today's meeting, you're going to get a reminder next week when we meet and do a policy review, okay? What the policy review is going to do for you guys is it's going to deepen your trust and your connection with your client. Do this for me real quick, though. Put a 3 in the chat if you're already doing a policy review with your client. Because for you guys, we're going to take that to the next level. And if you're not doing it yet, these are the reasons why you should. Okay. Deepen trust and connection with your client. Now, Wilbur, you just bought a policy from me. If we chatted a week later and I just sat there and said, hey, Wilbur, if you have any questions, I'm willing to go through that with you. I know you got the policy packet delivered to your home the other day. Is there any concerns that you have or any deeper clarification that you need on my end? How would that make you feel as a client?
Good, appreciated, cared for.
Yeah, I didn't just turn and burn. Like I actually care about this client. Okay. So we're going to deepen trust and connection. You're going to discuss future touch points. So when I'm meeting with Wilbur during that policy review, I'm going to tell Wilbur, hey, I usually reach out once a year. Okay. I'm going to look into your policies one time a year. I'm going to make sure that you guys have the best options available. And if I at any point can find something better for you guys, I'm going to let you know about that. Okay. So what I'm doing is letting Wilbur know that there may be times that I contact him over the next couple years where I find a better option for him. I already know what Fred's gonna say. Okay. DFL, IBC, right? If we sold them mortgage protection, there's so many different types of policies that their family would qualify for at this point, right? Rugrats, relatives, resets, all the things, right? So I'm already establishing with Wilbur that we're gonna meet one time a year. And if I have anything better for him, at that time we're gonna do that. Okay. That saves you all the trouble of calling them 6 months from now and telling them that you found something better for them and then being like, well, why didn't you just tell me what was better 6 months ago? Right? You're coming from heart posture here. Hey, if I ever find anything in the future that's better for you guys, I'm gonna let you know, okay? All right, number 3, you're gonna ask for referrals. This is why you should be doing a policy delivery. You guys are all like, Scott, when are we gonna get to the referral piece of this? You've been talking for a while. Okay, you're gonna ask for referrals and you're gonna keep policies on the books. It is a proven stat that if you have frequent touch points with your clients, they stay happy and they stay on the books. Persistency is important here, guys, especially if you're like running after a promotion or you're trying to win one of the carrier trips. They're going to look back at your persistency. They're going to look back at your book of business and it better be healthy or they're not going to let you go. Okay. So this is going to help you out big time. During this policy review, my main focus is making sure that I answer questions and make sure that Wilbur 100% knows when that next bill is coming out. Would you agree that's probably a focus point that we need to touch on, Wilbur?
Yeah,
Future payments.
yeah, that'd probably be good.
Okay. So I'm going to establish that like with Wilbur. I may even tell him to put it on his calendar, right? Just know that this is coming out at the same time every single month. You chose the 16th, so you won't see another payment until July 16th. Is that fair?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Now that we're done with the policy delivery, all the, answering all the questions. Yeah, Wilbur's a big talker. He's in his head right now thinking about how he's actually going to implement this in his business this week. I know Wilbur. He's all up here. It's all prefrontal cortex. All right. Now that you're protected, Wilbur, who else in your circle needs help today?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Um, you know, like what we just set up for you. You were happy with the process, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple buddies probably they're starting to have kids and stuff and they got debt and mortgages. That's what, so maybe you try giving them a call.
Okay. Who's one person that I could help out?
I got a buddy Alex. You can try him.
Okay. What's Alex's phone number? Let's just pretend you gave it to me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Perfect. Who else?
Who else? I got another buddy Tyler. Um, they got a new baby at home too.
Okay, perfect. Who else?
Who else? Man. Um, I mean, maybe I don't know. I could ask my neighbor. He's always talking about stuff like he's a pretty safe guy, so this might make sense for him too. His name is Billy.
Perfect. Who else?
Um, my brother's kind of a nut job, so he probably needs some coverage. His name's Zach.
Perfect. Who else?
Um, I don't know. I can't think of anyone else really.
Okay, cool. I've got Alex, Tyler, Billy, Zach. If you want to shoot them a text and let them know I'm reaching out, that'd be cool. If not, I'll just blame it on you. Okay?
Totally.
Okay, cool. All right. Anyways, so that's pretty much the end of the conversation there. You guys can end it however you want to. Again, keep this natural. Okay. My three favorite questions. Now that you're protected, who else in the family needs coverage today? Who else in your circle needs my help? Or you can say, is there anyone else in the house that we can help today? Whichever approach you want to take, just tailor that to the client that you're in front of. The important thing is that you ask every time. Guys, this is a numbers game, right? If you're asking zero right now, you're going to get zero referrals. Okay. So more is more. Start asking in your process. Now, what I did with Wilbur there when I kept asking who else and who else again, this is a Starbucks tactic. Have you guys ever gone through the Starbucks line and you order your latte and they say, what else? And then they zip their lips. They don't make recommendations. They don't start talking over you. They wait until you respond. All right. So Fred's in the drive-through and he orders himself a vanilla latte. They say, what else? He says, well, I'll take a blueberry muffin too. And they say, what else? And he's like, Gabby likes cake pops, so I'm gonna get her a cake pop. And they say, what else? And then all of a sudden he spent $29 in the Starbucks drive-through. That's happened to all of us. Okay. I've fallen victim to that. Right? It's the same thing with asking for referrals. The key point here is you have to get really quiet because our natural nervous tendencies are going to sound something like this. Wilbur, are you still with me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, who else in your circle needs my help today? I mean, if you can think of anybody, you can always just let me know.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, I got your number, dude. So, I mean, yeah, I'll text you maybe one day.
It would be amazing if you ever had a referral for me that I could help out. It would help me out big time.
Yeah,
Okay,
totally. I'll
just
definitely
text me.
I'll get right on that.
Just text me. Yeah.
Okay.
That was super awkward. But that's kind of what happens with us when we interject. So the number one rule for asking a referral is you got to shut up and don't say anything until they speak. And it may be 10 seconds that feels like 3 minutes, but the next thing out of their mouth, like when they actually have time to think about it, they're thinking about the people. If they just rifle off to you like, yeah, my mom probably needs it, but let me check with her first and I'll get back to you. And you're like, yeah, no worries, just get back to me. You can text me. If she ever needs my help, just text me. That's what most of our referral game sounds like. And it can get much better. Anna, who else in your circle can I help today? And then we're pausing and we're waiting and we're waiting. And then finally they think of a name. You're going to get that phone number and you're going to say who else. I've gone to 12 before. Most people are like one or two. I've gone all the way to 12. 12 referrals from one lead, which that's pretty cool. It's 12 free leads. When I give them a call, it sounds pretty natural. Okay. Who wants to role play this one? We'll be one of Wilbur's referrals. Can anyone help me out?
I'll do it.
Gabby. Ring ring.
Hello?
Hey, Gabby.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Scott Schnitzer. I actually just worked with your buddy Wilbur Smith.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're not like buddies, but I know him.
He said you were his best friend. This is actually a pretty rough
Yeah,
conversation.
we're close.
Okay, I figured so. You guys give each other a hard time, don't you?
We do. We have fun.
Okay, cool. Hey, I was just helping him out. I just got his family set up with a life insurance policy. He told me he was not sure if you and your husband had that set up yet. So I just wanted to give you a call and see if I can put a few options together for you.
Yeah, we have work coverage, but yeah, I'm glad you called because we've been thinking about that actually.
Cool. Yeah, I just got a few questions. I can set that up for you, but that's how the conversation is going to set. Literally, it's supernatural. These are the easiest leads you'll ever call because even if they're a little bit confused on why you're calling, you can totally blame it on Wilbur. Gabby, Wilbur didn't let you know I was calling, did he?
No, he didn't. That sounds like Wilbur.
Oh man, come on, that guy, right? Okay, and then we're like, now we're connecting on the fact that Wilbur dropped the ball and letting her know that I was calling. So make this natural, make this fun. These are going to be your easiest leads. They're not a super high closing lead. We're not going to be closing these referrals at 80%. You're going to be at like a closer to 20% close on these leads. Okay, so don't have super high expectations that you're going to follow up with these people. Definitely don't blow them up multiple times. Talk to them once. Okay, because the last thing you want is for Gabby going back to Wilbur and saying, your life insurance agent blew me up. Because that's going to turn off the referral flow ever coming from Wilbur again. And every time I meet with him, I'm going to ask him who else in his circle can I help. And if he found out that I treated Gabby poorly, he's never going to give me a referral again. So these people, you should contact them once. Make sure you have at least one solid conversation with them and then move on if they're not interested. All right. So that's the play from here. We just went through all this stuff. Who would be the primary 4 to 5 individuals in your life that would be in charge of contacting us? This was the emergency contact list setup. Again, we're running the play. Silence, wait for a response, ask who else. Okay, ask for the referral, give them silence, ask who else. Keep it going until they stop. You'll get more referrals. And then your 5 R's, you've got referrals, resets, replacement, rugrats, and recruits. Rugrats for me is kind of the same thing as relatives. Oh man, that looks fun. Anybody with newborns knows what I just had to see here. We had a little blowout. You guys put this on a post-it note next to your computer. Like really be thinking about these things when you're in front of your clients, because even one of them is going to give you lift in your business this week. One referral, one reset, one child's policy, one friend that you can help. Like that's going to give you lift in your business. So just be thinking about these things. I'm going to close it here, open it up to questions. We've got 10 minutes or so to hang out. You guys can feel free to unmute. I am going to, who's in charge of the Zoom? Can you unpin me from the top? I'm really big and I don't want to be big anymore. There we go. Thank you. All right.
Hey,
Scott, can you hear me?
Scott.
Yeah, Michael.
Real quick, all I want to do is highlight number one, thank you, obviously, for coming on, pouring into everybody how you always do. But one thing I did want to highlight for everybody that I loved a ton is obviously your referral process is top tier A1. But I like the follow-up process that you did too, right? Because I know sometimes that can be easily overlooked. Um, but the policy review and following up with your client, you guys, that is so important to be able to keep business on the books, as well as you don't realize like that can generate so many referrals for you. Maybe not right there in the moment, but in the future when you're doing your annual policy reviews and go from there, just because you're building so much trust because your client knows, okay, Scott's in my corner, right? He reached out. He did what he said he was going to do. He reached out to follow up. All right, somebody I can depend on, and I can depend on if I did send anybody his way, I know he's going to take care of them. So that's something I wanted to highlight just because business sticking on the books and improve your net place ratio. That's one of the top ways to improve it. Because I remember speaking with a carrier over at AMAM or rep at AMAM, and she said the number one reason why chargebacks happen is after the sale is made, an agent does not follow up.
and that client is confused and don't know what they got or if this was real or not. So I wanted to highlight that because that can keep so many more people a lot more profitable if they implemented that a lot more.
Michael, you know what I heard one time? I forgot what training it was on. It wasn't a symmetry thing, but I heard this on like a YouTube video. The guy said once you get 500 clients on your book of business, you never have to buy a lead again.
In Atlanta, milk and gravy, milk and honey at that point, I believe.
You guys have the ability to do that if you're nurturing like Danny Young always says. I love that he says this because like he's like, you're gonna find good people through good people. So just go find good people, right? Like in terms of building your business, you're gonna find good clients through good clients. It's the same strategy over here on the production side. So, having 500 clients on the book and never having to buy a lead again, that's because you're nurturing your client base. That's because you're thinking about the 5 R's every time you have a conversation with them, right? And it gets to a point like Lori, the case study that I showed you guys at the beginning, she's definitely a rare example. But she just texted me again 3 weeks ago and she goes, "Hey Scott, I've got another one for you." We just helped out her, I think it was her uncle, got him a final expense policy. But like she's so good at giving me referrals. She tells me, she's like, "I'm not going to send you anyone that's not ready to buy." Right? You get a couple of those and you can write an extra 5K, 10K a month, right? If you have those people that are working for you. Now, I sent Lori a few gifts. I showed her my appreciation. All right, we bought her a pair of Carhartt work gloves because she pours concrete for a living in Oregon and it gets cold over there. Okay, so we got her a nice pair of Carhartt working gloves and we've sent her thank you cards and all those things. But like I'm nurturing that, or as Danny would say, I'm mining that vein. All right. So yeah. What else, guys?
I wanted to ask, like, how long after, like, the policy review are you calling those referrals? Is it like the next day or maybe a couple of days after?
Always by Friday. So like if I sell them, I will get to them that same week. So if I sold you a policy on a Tuesday, I would let you know that I'll be reaching out to your friends by Friday. Yeah, because I want to say, hey, McKinley just did this. He just got himself set up with a life insurance policy and he wasn't sure if you had one yet or not. So he wanted me to reach out to you to see if you wanted to do the same thing as him. I'll tell you what's really funny about those conversations is most of those referrals end up getting the same type of policy that their friend did or like that their brother did. Like people want the same thing, right? It's like, oh, he got 500,000. I want 500,000. Or tell me, what did Sarah get? I'll just do what she got. Right. So yeah, I would reach out same week, McKinley. What else, guys?
Hey, Scott.
Hey,
Hey, is there any way that I might be able to get your contact information where I can ask some questions and stuff in the near future?
yeah, shoot me a message on Instagram. Okay. I would say
Okay.
Slack, but I don't think you're in our Slack
All right.
group. Whose team are you on?
Anderson,
Okay, cool.
Johnson.
Perfect. Yeah, just I'm actually gonna change the name on my screen here to my Instagram handle. You guys can feel free to reach out to me if you need anything.
So just find you on Instagram and shoot you a
Shoot,
message.
shoot me a message anytime. I'm here to help.
Okay. All right.
It's
Thanks,
easy.
Scott.
It's easier than text right now because I've got about 320 unread texts that I gotta get back to. So Instagram would probably be easier for me. Thanks, Curtis. All right, what else, guys?
I'll do.
Yep, we'll connect.
Yeah, I had a question. Like, what is the difference between the emergency contact list, and then the actual referral list?
I'm glad you asked that. It's just a little bit different posturing when you make that first call. You want to role play this with me? Is it Safan?
Yeah, Safan.
Safan? Okay, I'm glad I got it right. Safan, you want to role play this with me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so let's say that you're the brother of Wilbur and he put you on his emergency contact list, okay?
Okay.
Okay, ring ring.
Hey,
Hey,
who's
Safan.
hey, who's this?
Hey, this is just Scott Schnitzer. I just worked with your brother Wilbur. I'm his family's life insurance agent.
Okay.
And uh, part of the process of setting up his policy is he named you as one of his emergency contact referrals on his policy,
Okay.
which basically just means that he trusts you. He wants to make sure his family's taken care of if anything happens to him. So I know this call is pretty out of the blue, but my job as his agent is just to reach out to his emergency contact list and just make sure that y'all have my contact info in case you ever need to get a hold of me. Okay.
Okay.
So I'd like to send that over to you today and make sure that you have all, my phone number and my email. And if you ever need anything, you can reach out. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. Awesome. He also wanted me to check in on you. He wasn't sure when I asked him this question if you guys had a policy set up or not yet for yourselves. So I'd be more than happy to look into that for you if you guys need some life insurance coverage.
Yeah. What did he get?
Good question. Let me check here. So it looks like he ended up doing a $500,000 term. He said he wanted to do some other type of policies, but he started with a $500,000 term. Yeah.
Okay, well, I have a, $450,000 mortgage. I want to make sure that's covered in case, my wife, I pass away.
Okay, cool. So at this point, Stefan, I would pull out a client qualification form and get to work,
Yeah.
right? Now you're my client. All right. That's just an open door. And guys, please have the correct heart posture here. I say that word a lot, but it's super key for this type of call. You're not going in there to sell a policy. You're going in there to build a stronger book of business. I hope that we have that view on this. Is I'm strengthening my book of business. If I happen to sell Sifan a policy, great. But at the very least, I'm strengthening my book by doing these things. Okay. In conversation, if they end up chatting next week they're out for lunch together and Sifan's like, Wilbur, your life insurance agent called me the other day and like super nice guy just wanted to make sure that I had his contact info. Did you tell him to do that? And Wilbur's like, no, that's just part of his process. And let's say Safan didn't buy a policy from me. How cool is that? Like they're chatting about how good their life insurance agent is over lunch, right? Man, he was really paying attention to all the details there, right? This is not normal, guys. Most life insurance agents sell the policy and move on. So we're strengthening our book here by doing these things. Is that helpful, Savon?
Yes, thank you.
Cool.
Hi, Scott.
Hey,
On the replacements on the 5 Rs, how do you mentally think about that when you have that on your sticky? Like, is your goal to like, so when I see that word replacement, I'm thinking we try to replace what they already have, which would not be the goal.
heck
It's always
yes.
like,
Every person I talk to is always better off with me. Okay. The only time I won't replace it is if a symmetry agent sold them that policy.
wow, are you
Okay.
serious?
Otherwise, I am replacing it. I'm building my book of business around that person. I'm selling kids policies, spouse policies, all the
Hold on.
things.
A few of the people that I have contacted recently, they do have, they'll tell me they got the job insurance, right? And so I haven't been trying to replace those. I let them know that it's gonna expire, the job is gonna end, they're gonna quit the job. But my goal has never really been to like replace.
Yeah,
So
for that one, it's not really a replacement, but I'm always gonna go after that because, Michelle, if you tell me you have a work policy, I'm like, okay, gotcha. Let me ask you about that real quick because I'm really happy that you do have that. Most jobs don't offer it. That's really cool as a benefit, right? That's really cool that you have that policy. Now, let me ask you a question, Michelle. Is that kind of like a company vehicle? Like when you stop working there, you're gonna have to turn the car back in? Or do they let
uh, I-
do they let you
I'll
keep
I'll
that policy
continue
forever?
paying. I'll continue paying regardless if I'm at that job or not. It stays with me.
Okay. Are they gonna let you keep your group rate or does that get jacked up on you when you leave the company?
That I have to follow up. Can you
Okay.
do an example of if it wasn't job insurance and they just recently, maybe they like took care of it, like I have it, and they even answer what they have. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I got 300,000. Yes, I took the mortgage payment protection. So how do you handle that?
Yeah. Hey, look, Michelle, I think that there's a reason why I called you today. So, obviously there's that. Would you be opposed if I just, shopped around with like the 30 or 40 carriers I have and just like make sure that your family has the best option available to y'all? Like the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. Would you be opposed to that if I did that for you?
Well, the only question I have is, isn't it true? Like, I already have this policy for 3 years, so it goes up with age. So it would be more expensive if I try to change.
I get that. Yeah. But if I could find something that saved you, 15, $20 a month, even 3 years later, would you be opposed to hearing about that?
I guess not.
Okay. So if I call you back, I found something better. If I don't, you got the best policy available, okay?
All right, that sounds fair enough. Thank you so much.
No problem. And I would just quickly do a few quotes for that person. If I find something, I'm calling them back like 10 minutes later because I'm on their mind. Okay. I'm gonna hang up that phone call. I'm gonna run a few quotes with the my favorite carriers. If I'm even getting in Richard, you're unmuted.
Right? And then I'm right back on the phone calling her back.
Richard, you're unmuted. Thank you. If I can find something for them right away, I'm going to call back and strike while the iron's hot. If I can't, I'll just maybe shoot them a text and say, hey, couldn't find anything for you that was better. It sounds like you have a great policy. Now think about all the other things though, like resets, referrals, relatives. Like you guys can go deeper on that. If it's a good client, like if they're blowing you off and being a little bit rude, you might not want to mind that vein. But if Michelle's super sweet and she's like, yeah, I guess if you can find something better, call me back. Like it may be worth calling them back and just saying, hey, look, you have the best policy available. But while I was looking into options for you, I was just kind of thinking to myself, do you have kids policies? I know you mentioned you had a 12 and a 16-year-old, right? So just it's that reticular activating system. When you're thinking about all these different things, you're going to find more business. So yeah, it might be worth it to dig a little bit deeper, Michelle. Patrick, see your hand raised. Let's do this as the last question. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was already 2:02.
All good, brother. It's more of a comment than a question. I really like the way that when you reached out to the contacts, the emergency contacts, how you edified them. That you're a person you're starting at the conversation off with a compliment and making them feel good about themselves, right? You can be jocular or whatever, however you want to, how the person reacts to you. But I think that's really important and helping bring their guard down and start to build rapport, and that this person said these nice things about you. They trust you enough to put you in a position of this type of leverage, if you will.
Yep.
And I think that's really good. So I just wanted to comment on it. That's all.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh wow, my brother Wilbur really respects me. I thought he hated me. So now I'm getting this.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a good call out. I think it's good to edify that what's actually taking place is that the person I just sold life insurance to really trusts this person that they're giving me contact info for. So I'll let them know that.
Yeah, great training today, brother.
Cool. That's it, guys. Shout out to the Mac room. This is incredible. You guys have a great day. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. That's it for me.